Life in an internment camp drove Yuri Kochiyama's commitment to social justice. Yuri Kochiyama was dedicated to social change. She worked for civil rights for all people. She was born in 1921. Kochiyama is known for speaking out against the World War II detention of Japanese Americans. Many were forced to internment camps for the entire war. They faced rough conditions. Her own father died after being detained. Kochiyama was born and raised in San Pedro, California. In 1941, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. Afterwards, her Japanese American father was arrested. He had just come out of surgery at a hospital. However, he was arrested and kept by force there. He was the only Japanese in that hospital, Kochiyama recalled, so they hung a sheet around him that said "Prisoner of War." He was held for 6 weeks. His health worsened. He died the day after he was released. In 1943, President Franklin D. Roosevelt issued Executive Order 9066. It said the government could move people who it thought might hurt Americans in the war. Because of this, Japanese Americans who lived on the West Coast had to leave their homes. They took only what they could carry and left much behind. They were told to get on buses, trucks, and trains. No one told the people where they were going. They didn't know how long they would stay. Kochiyama and her family were sent to an internment camp in Arkansas. They stayed for 2 years. This experience and her father's death made Kochiyama aware of governmental abuse. It showed her how the government could treat certain groups unfairly. After being released, she moved to New York in 1946. There, she married Bill Kochiyama. He was a U.S. Army veteran. He fought alongside many Japanese American soldiers. Yuri Kochiyama's activism started in the early 1960s. In 1960, her family moved to Harlem. It is a neighborhood in New York City. There, she partnered with Asian American, African American, and Third World movements. With these groups, she fought for civil and human rights. They also protested the war in Vietnam. Soon, Kochiyama created Asian Americans for Action. She hoped the group would bring Asian American people together. Perhaps they could fight to change laws. Also, she wanted to link the group to the struggle for black freedom. All of these groups were treated unfairly because of skin color, she said. It put them in similar positions of poverty and mistreatment, she believed. In 1963, she met the famous African American activist Malcolm X. Their friendship changed her life and outlook. She joined his group, the Organization for Afro-American Unity. It fought for fair treatment for African Americans and human rights. Yuri was present on the day he was shot and killed in 1965. An article called Death of Malcolm X was published in Life magazine. Kochiyama can be seen holding Malcolm X's head. In the 1980s, Kochiyama worked in the redress and reparations movement for Japanese Americans. Her husband Bill joined her. The movement sought money from the government for former prisoners for their unfair treatment during the war. They also asked for an apology from the government. Both of these goals were achieved. They also received money from the government to help educate people about what happened during internment. Support for political prisoners was always a part of Kochiyama's work. She fought for prisoners of many different backgrounds. Yuri Kochiyama died on June 1, 2014. She was 93.